Welcome to The Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose, and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of The Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to The Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life.
We all experience things in our lives that others might look at and not quite understand how we made it through it or why we were willing to power through it in a lot of cases. When we look at things that have happened to us and we decide that we're not going to let that hold us back, we're not going to let it get us down, or we look at the things that are happening around us and we say, those things aren't how I'm going to show up in the world, or I'm not going to be that way. I'm going to be something different. And we step into a knowingness that we can be so much more than that. We open the door for us to bring ourselves to the world in a way that we truly can live our divine intent. We truly can make a difference. And each and every one of us has that difference to make. And we bring certain aspects of ourselves, certain gifts, certain talents to make that difference. When we can look around and see that we are truly all one, and we can find ways to help each and every person live that divine intent, to bring their gifts and talents to the world in a way that satisfies them, that brings them into the highest vibrations. And in that, they support the vibration that we have, and they support the vibration of our businesses or our family lives. It's understanding that we all can work together by sharing our gifts and talents to help each and every person bring their gifts and talents to the world is where we truly open our hearts and open the hearts of the world to the possibilities. I'm with Teresa Garcia today. Teresa is a survivor who decided early on that the traumatic life she lived would not define her. Adversity has been a part of her journey for her entire life. At age 5, she was abused in every way possible. At 15 years old, she became pregnant and homeless. As a single mother to a lovely child with severe disabilities and no support system, she healed herself with the help of coaches. She is now a powerhouse that teaches others to live the life they desire. Teresa is the founder and chief empowerment officer of Rubi's Positive Empowerment. She is a Holy Fire Reiki practitioner, a heart math mentor, and a Mind Valley Hollow Body coach. Teresa Garcia, are you ready to share the miracle of you with the imagination?
I am. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to get a chance to chat with you and let you share your story, because it's so powerful. And the changes and the transformations that I've seen in you since I've known you is an example for all. So I can't wait to share you with the imagination. The bio that I shared, there's not a whole lot there. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more about who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah. So, what I'm doing now with Rubi's Positive Empowerment is we're job matchmakers pairing adults with disabilities to their ideal employers. However, we do so much more than that, because when we're working with them, we are, with our clients, we're building confidence, we're teaching various soft and hard skills, and, using awesome goal setting and intentional actionable steps towards those big, audacious goals, so that they can live fulfilling lives. And that's the one leg of the business, right? And now with all of the coaching certifications that I've obtained, my plan is to do one-on-one coaching with individuals And I'm considering a employee wellness program as well for small to large businesses.
Awesome. There's so much in what you're sharing there that is needed, and to open the door for people who have talents and gifts that might be overlooked in many cases is so important. I shared in the bio a little bit about some of the things that have happened to you. What was the real true wake up call that got you to step more further into who you are?
So, the first one was definitely the pregnancy. As soon as, before I knew I was pregnant, my first 2 years of high school, I got straight Fs, and then I got pregnant and I was like, I need a job, got a job within a week, was then kicked out and then homeless for living in a basement. But I got another job while I finished high school, and I graduated, with honors in 2 years. That was my first wake up call. But the second one was in 2009. In 2009, I lost my fiance to drinking and driving. And, it was very sudden, of course, and a complete shock. And I just went down this really dark path. I actually cursed God and started having these insane situations. The one that comes to mind first is, I remember crying, and it was daytime, and I was just balled up on my bed crying. And all of a sudden I felt like I was being choked. And I, then went into this nightmare, and I woke up and I was so scared that I actually called my grandma, which my grandparents were very racist and not a part of our lives, really. And so I just didn't know what else to do. And she told me it was a demon and that I needed to go to church. and so I did. And then, unfortunately, a couple months later, my mother died. And at that point, I had been going to church for about a month, and I was learning about the Bible, and I was having a really hard time with the New Testament and some of the stuff in the Old Testament. And when my mom died, I said, life is really short. I need to make an impact. I've got to make this world a better place. It's just all I had known up until that point was just chaos. And so I went back to school. I went to Alverno, which is a very unique college that forces you to, value and assess every aspect of your life in every single course. And so, I really fell into religious studies. So I ended up minoring in religious studies. My bachelor was in history, and then I had business development or business as a minor as well. And I just went to school for things that I enjoyed, trying to figure out where we came from so I can figure out how to make this world a little bit brighter.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Let me ask you about a couple things that you said in that share. First of all, most people, when at a point where you were F's in the first couple of years of your schooling, and then getting pregnant, being homeless, most people would give up. What was the fire? What was the spark that got you to go back to school and do what you did?
I think it was when my mom kicked me out. She told me that I was supposed to do something with my life and that I was going to be a failure. I was never going to make it. I was her last hope. And she decided to, at that point, go back to drugs. And so she started, she smoked crack. And so I watched her lose everything, and I completely refused to let her tell me I wasn't going to be anything anymore because I was having this baby. So, it hurt, and it still hurts to say, but it lit a fire under my butt.
Yes, sometimes the example of our parents or the people that we care about might not be the best example, but if we take how we want to be different from it, it makes such a big difference. And that was a big turnaround for you. And and what you decided to do. How was it to be a single homeless mother?
Well, thankfully, I was only homeless for a couple months. And my boyfriend at the time, his grandmother was just amazing. I love her to this day. And so she let us stay in her basement. So I wasn't actually living on the streets, but I was also living in a, not a very healthy environment. I mean, she was amazing. She just had, I think 14 kids, and a lot of them, did the best they could with what they knew, but it was in the best environment. And so, I just that allowed me to get the 2 jobs and go to school and build up a little bit of money. And then I got a place right around the block from her. And so I'm sorry, I don't know where I was going with that, but
You're doing great. So in that movement then, where did you find the spark then to even move further and start helping people? Was it in college or was it because of the wake up?
No, it was in college. And it really actually was because of the wake up. So my fiance that passed, he had, he was the first person that inspired me to care about other, about the community, really. And so he had these big goals of helping the youth, and he grew up in Milwaukee, in the really, I don't know what else, it was the ghetto, I mean, it was so bad that when I went to the store in the broad daylight, the police stopped me and said, "Why are you walking in this neighborhood by yourself?" So he's the first person that inspired me. And then my mom inspired me as well, because before she went down that path, she had started her own business, and she was a home healthcare provider, and she really loved her clients. And, I saw that growing up. And so I'm sure that inspired me as well. But when I was in college, at first I thought I was going to be a teacher. And so I, was taking the courses, but then I fell in love with history, and I fell in love with religious studies and all these other things. And as I was doing my, I don't know if they call it an internship, but, you had to teach for in a classroom part-time for a semester, I realized that I didn't want to tell people what to think. I wanted to teach them how to think. And then there was a kid at that school, and he all of a sudden, out of nowhere, became very behavioral and started using the bathroom on himself. And he was in 8th grade, and this was very, it wasn't his MO. And so by sharing a little bit of my story, without getting too graphic about the abuse that I had endured, we found out that he was being sexually abused. He opened up and told us. And I realized that at that moment, my story can actually help people. And so at that point, I thought, well, I'm just going to start a group home for kids that don't have a support system. And so that's when that idea birthed.
So as that idea then came into existence and you started helping the community that way, from a history major that studied the religious studies also, how did you move into the Rubi's positive empowerment world? How did you move into that world of helping people bring their gifts and talents that they normally wouldn't be able to share?
I say, I often say I fell into it, but I also know that I was guided and supported along the way. When I moved to Colorado Springs, I struggled with getting a job, and I had so many crazy situations. I felt like I was in a Lifetime drama movie. And so I was at a point where I was desperate and applying to anything, but I saw this mentorship position, and I thought it was for individuals with disabilities. I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. And I went to that interview, and they just said, I think you'd be better over here in supported employment. And honestly, I thought they were crazy because I hated the application process for myself. But I tried it, and I seen one person who I'd met with him twice that week. The first week wouldn't look at me and just was very down. And the second time I met with him, his eyes lit up and he actually engaged in a mock interview. And I saw that contrast and I was like, well, this is really fun. And so then that weekend, I researched the field and just started putting new processes in place. And I just ended up being really good at it. We became very effective very quickly. And I had only been at that agency for a couple of months when, it went from a 1-woman department to a 5-woman department to keep up with all of our success.
Wow, that's incredible. One of the interesting things is that, first of all, for where you are right now and how you're showing up in the world and what you've experienced in the past, most people can't even imagine what you experienced in your life. But you brought those and made those a gift in how you're delivering to the world, how you're delivering to your clients at Rubi's Positive Empowerment. Could you share a little bit about how you have been able to look at those things as positive things in a way that have helped you be who you are?
Yeah. I mean, since I was very young, I've always looked around and said, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. And I will never be like that. And so, my mom used to tell me that I was way too wise for my age. And so I think I've always kind of had it ingrained in me to look at what I don't like and believe that there's a better way. Growing up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, very racist environment, not a lot of hope, tons of drugs. I just decided that can't be me. And, even to this day, I have a hard time with it because, my siblings don't have that same perspective. And so, unfortunately, I lost my sister last year to suicide. And, I'm watching my brother struggle and there's not much I can do about it. And I wish I knew, other than me saying I refuse that. I don't know what else it was to make me believe that there was more and better. I mean, there was a few powerful spiritual experiences that I had, not only, I didn't talk about this much, but with that experience where I felt like I was being choked and I found out it was a demon. In fact, it took a couple of months before I would actually be alone at night in the house by myself, because that I would get paralysis. I would see myself being, whether it was a nightmare or what, I don't know, but I could feel myself being dragged up the wall in a lot of crazy situations. And then I decided to get close to God. And as soon as I started saying, in Jesus' name, release me, that paralysis stopped. It would take a little bit for me to get it all the way out, but it stopped. And so right there, I knew that I was connected and that there was spirit protecting me. And I think that probably is what gave me the hope for more, and to believe in my studies and religious studies, just, believing that the universe, we're all interconnected and that, we can ask for support. And I've done it quite a few times.
So when you were, I guess this is how I want to ask this question, because I think it's really important for the audience that's listening now and people as in general to realize that the environment does have a huge effect on our lives, but we have the power over the environment. How would you describe that, or how would you share that with this audience so they understand that they can move past the environment?
So what I found when I was studying the religious studies, and I started realizing that everything was interconnected, that's when I started doing my self-care work. And I felt so empowered. And to this day, I cannot wait to get back to that point of where I was in college, because I was vibing so high. I didn't experience any problems. All these opportunities came to me. Like I was asked to be an academic assistant for organizational behavior. I was asked to be a tutor. I was asked to present. I was asked to be a part of all these things when I was in that high vibe. And it was so powerful. And I'm still working on getting to that point again. But I feel like that was spirit giving me a dose of what reality could be like to keep me fighting to release all that is holding me back, and to release and heal from all the traumas and things of that nature. I think that was like the seed that was planted. It's coming to fruition now.
But at Imagine Miracles, we really believe that the highest vibration comes when we are bringing all of us to the world. We're delivering from the place of knowing what our vibration, knowing what our essence is, and living that vibration from an open heart, and accomplishing what it is that we're meant to do here. And I'm really going to put you on the spot here, because I think this is such an awesome opportunity to share with people. People with disabilities have their gifts and talents. They have a purpose on this earth, just like everyone else. And they have this mission, they have this divine intent that they're here to deliver. How do you help the people that you pair them up with see their potential?
So I think it's more about helping that individual see their own potential, and that shines through more than me talking of someone up, right? And so we work on confidence. I work with my clients that are interested in developing self-care and building confidence through meditation, breathing techniques, through different heart math techniques, and just, whether it's devotional or affirmations, we have so many different modalities that I work with to help them see their own awesomeness. And then when I am developing community partners, really, I am only working with people who already have an open mind. If I have to open your mind to see that this person has value, I'm in the wrong room. And so, we focus not only on, what their natural abilities and awesomeness is, we also are very transparent if there are any accommodations needed. Like I have a client who is a complete genius and, graduated cum laude, project manager, Scrum certified, just artistic and, amazing. She doesn't like social environments, only under the concept of she doesn't want to run a team. She doesn't want to manage a team. And everyone that she works with is like, you're so amazing, you need to manage a team. And she's like, I don't want to. So, I talk about that, before they even meet the individual, so that they're aware, like, okay, this is what they bring to the table, and this is what they don't want to do or aren't comfortable with at this time. And then you decide, do you want to meet them? And we go from there.
You really shared your answer there, that you're helping people bring their vibration up.
Yeah.
And in bringing their vibration up, they're attracting the right situation for them to go out and deliver. You shared a little bit there about one of your clients. Could you share about some of your success stories?
Yeah. So, I got to think, there's been so many. We've helped over 55 people get employed in the last year. So, obviously I shared that one. I think I've worked with, I just helped a young man who had been looking for work for about 3 years find a dream job that, day one, he has full benefits, and it's in an environment where, it's an IT environment where it's his strength. And it also incorporates the fact that he, doesn't really like customer service that much. He doesn't like interacting with people he doesn't know too often. And so we were able to find a job where he doesn't even have to interact with any customers, and he gets to work on his passion project, building this IT, this device. He starts next week, so I don't know too much about the device just yet, but in a clean room. So, that's one of our success stories for sure. I worked with a young man who had never worked, and he was actually, middle-aged, I should say, and didn't think that he could get a job. And we got him a job in a week, and he's been there for over a year now. Absolutely loves it. They love him, and, everybody's happy. I think there's another one that just eluded me that was really fun. I mean, all my clients are fun, but it's really fun when I meet with someone. We got a text yesterday from one of our clients who was told in transition program that she wasn't employable from her teacher. And she said, "Thank you. Because of you, I not only have a job, but I am happy, and I feel like a productive, member of society. And I'm just so thankful to be working with you all." And so, I get those stories a lot. I have a guy who had been looking for work after a car accident. He had a really great job, but he had been looking for work for 6 years. And, we got him a job. He loves the place, already has really close friends. Well, he got really sick, and like cancer, COVID, everything. And what he told me was what kept him going was the fact that he was able to go back. He wanted to get back to work. And that's what kept his positivity in battling cancer and COVID at the same time.
Wow, great shares. Thank you so much. I'd love to give you a few minutes here to help open up some minds to possibilities. What would you share?
Well, I mean, I think outside of my own life, if you look at me 4 years ago, I was living off of welfare and struggling to keep a job. Our second year of business, we did almost $250,000, and helped tons of lives. And it was by saying yes and trying everything and, listening to my gut when something wasn't working and ending it, even though I was unsure of what was next. But if I didn't do that, I would have never found this field. Like I had no idea it existed. Even with my son, I mean, when he was born, they told me he would probably die. He could die in the next few months. And I refused to listen to them. They told me he would need a permanent feeding tube, and he probably wouldn't sit up because he'd have low muscle tone because of the Cry-do-shot syndrome. I was 16 years old in a room full of like 4 doctors. And I said, no. I refused the feeding tube. And the night before they were legally allowed to do the surgery, he drank just enough milk that he could go home the next day. And now, he was walking at 1. He's 18 years old, happy kid. He's not going to die from aspiration like they told me he would. And he doesn't fit the definition of Cry-do-shot or autism. So these categories that people give you mean nothing. I think what matters is not only your belief, but intentional action. What can you do to optimize your health, to optimize your mental health? What kind of blocks do you have within you that you need to bring awareness out and release them so that you can live that fulfilling life? And so, that's why I say that the coaches have helped me so much, because when I'm telling them my excuses and the stories that I'm telling myself, they can see it for what it is. And I can't see it because it's too close to my face. So yeah, I just, I never listened, I guess. I follow rules, but I never listened to what anyone told me my life or my son's life was going to be. Yeah.
One of the most exciting things that you just shared there is that there's a lot of rules in our society. There's a lot of rules that each individual has, but that's their rules. And we're the ones that are responsible for our own rules and what we believe and how we move forward. How could you open some eyes of people that would be interested in hiring some of your clients?
Right now there's just, this is going to sound mean, but I'm not interested in opening eyes. What I'm interested in doing is telling you, if you have these needs, be open to who you allow to fill them. Because someone that can sell themselves in that interview, like we've seen it a million times, they say, oh, I've done this, I can do this, I can do that. And then they get in and they're not consistent. They don't show up. They've got a bad energy or a bad attitude. The clients I work with, they're not going to blow smoke up. They're going to tell you how it is. And unfortunately, they're not going to sell themselves. They're going to be very direct about what they can do. And they're going to be very happy to do the work. And when you do work happy, you care about the quality. You want to get everything right. You want to do it in a timely manner. Like you want to make your employer happy. And people that work with me see that. And that's why, I have people like Chris Dyer and Abby Harrison. And I've got a huge list, but really people that will come to me for their employment needs because they're like, wow, when they show up, they really show up and they're happy to do the work and they want to make my life easier. Come on, if you're not ready to hire or if it's a first hire, one of the biggest problems is those SOPs. We create that for you, man. We could probably charge thousands of dollars for that. I know I paid about $3,000 for my handbook. So, we're going to make the process easier for you. We're going to simplify it for future employees. And if you're not aware that inclusion is really a PowerPoint for you to have a diversity with the people doing, in your business, they all bring different perspectives. Not only that, but people that see that you employ individuals with disabilities, your customers are more likely to trust you. Like there's so many studies out there that you can research, but I don't want it to be a marketing tool. I want it to be, I want to employ people that are happy to do the work, that are going to show up and want to be there for a long time. I had another client working at the Paralympic Museum. She's been there a little over a year. She wants to work there for the rest of her life. She is so happy there, and doing a job that most people don't like doing. It's janitorial. Most people don't like that. And she's so happy. She's got a big smile on her face every single day,
You might not want to open eyes or be interested in opening eyes, but you just did.
Oh, okay.
I just want to share that with you because you just did. The people that are listening to this recording are going to have their eyes opened and their hearts open to what you just shared. Believe it or not, Teresa, we're at the end of our time together. Could you share how people can get in touch with you?
Yes, please reach out on my website, rpempowerment.com. You can check us out on our Facebook page, Rubi's Positive Empowerment, or you can give me a call, 719-235-8777. Thanks.
All that information will be available on Teresa's show page. Just go to themiracleu.com, look for her episode, and I'll make sure that all that information is there so you can get in touch with Teresa, learn more about what she's doing and how she's making a difference in the world. Teresa Garcia, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you and what you're doing in the world, and I enjoyed our time together.
Thank you. This was so much fun. I appreciate being on the show.
On behalf of Mary, my wife and business partner, the entire team here at Imagine Miracles, we want to wish each and every one of you a miracle day.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleu.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 Mind Awakening Steps Toward Your Unique Purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleu.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.